Hey Mama, welcome to the podcast. This is Jocelyn and I am so excited to be here with you. If you are joining today, you are joining our newborn series. I have a 2.5 month old now baby, and I have decided that I wanted to talk a little bit about that fourth trimester, as some have called it, which is the postpartum and having a newborn. So I am going over some of the things I've been reminded of and learned with having this baby for a couple of months, and always still encouraging pregnancy either at the beginning or the ending of my episode, because it's hard to find positivity during pregnancy when you are sick. So we will jump into this episode, and today we get to talk about how to burp a baby. Hi, I'm Jocelyn, host of the Positive in Pregnancy and Motherhood podcast. I help pregnant women and mothers to find positivity in their season of life through changing their thoughts to work for them and not against them. I help mothers find the small, doable steps in thought and action without making drastic changes to their everyday mom life, and I can help you. Thanks for joining. Alright, so along with how to burp a baby, I wanted to also give you tips and tricks for burping your baby and getting those burps up. Because a baby who hasn't been properly burped or hasn't given you the right amount of burps can become very fussy and upset and colicky and basically cause you a lot of heartache because they are not happy because they've got a bubble that they cannot get up. So that's what I wanted to talk about, because I have had my fair share of troubles with learning how to burp a baby, learning tips and techniques to get those babies to get those burps up. So we are going to jump right into that. And at the end, I'm going to give some encouragement for those mamas who are in the sick phase of pregnancy, who are struggling to get anything done and struggling in their mind to find joy in pregnancy. And if that is you, stay tuned for that. I'll put a timestamp in the show notes so that if you want to just jump ahead to that time, you can just jump ahead to that time in the episode. All right, so when your baby is first born and you feed the baby, at least if you're nursing, you don't really have to nurse them or burp them as much with colostrum. But once your milk comes in, it is important to begin burping your baby. Now, when they're really little, they cannot hold their head up by themselves. So the best way I have found to burp a very newborn baby that can't hold their head up very good is just to hold them upright on your chest and gently pat their back. So really that is the basics of burping, is to hold your baby upright and to gently pat their back until they let up a burp. But oftentimes they don't always want to let up that burp. And so for the newborn, you can, like I said, put them on your chest, or you can gently sit them on your leg, hold their body and head up in your one hand, like your left hand, and then gently pat with your right hand is another way that you can burp. Just having them or moving them upright can really help. So when they're not burping just by gently patting their back, though, here are a few tips that I have learned. The first tip is you can rub up their back. So start at the bottom of their tailbone and kind of rub up their spine gently to the neck. Every now and then I've found, especially with newborns, this can help the bubbles move up and allow them to burp. The second tip that I have learned is to kind of pull open their mouth. So sometimes they just don't open their mouth, so the burp can't escape if their mouth isn't open. So I just gently pull on their chin, pat their back, and pull their mouth open a little bit. And sometimes this can help also to release a burp. I found this one out by accident this time, this third tip, which is to move your body back and forward. Okay, so if you're sitting on a couch, you'll move forward with your baby on your chest and then move back. Sometimes the movement of rotating their body forward and backwards helps to release that burp. I found this out when I was rocking my baby in a rocking chair, and he burped, and then I tried it on the couch, and it helped to move some of these air bubbles out. Is just a different type of motion with the forward and backward movement. So I felt like my baby was getting colicky for a little bit this go around. I felt like he was fussy, and I was struggling to release his air bubbles and to get him happy. And one thing that I had found online somewhere through like a reel or a short or a video or something was where you place your hand when you're patting your baby. So one of the things that I had learned was that sometimes if you have a colicky baby, if you pat lower on their back instead of higher, this can help. And it did help him for a little while to pat a little bit lower on his back than higher. I didn't realize the position where your hand is made a difference, but it definitely can make a difference. Now, when your baby gets big enough, I learned this from my mom as a young girl. When they get big enough to hold their head up, you'll be able to kind of tell or feel when that stage is. You want to put your baby with his or her hands. I keep saying his because my baby is a boy, but no, this works for boys or girls. But put their arms up over your shoulders, so like their arms are hanging over the back of your shoulders, and burp that way. For some reason, my mom taught me that if their arms are up over your shoulders and you're burping, it helps get the bubble out. I don't know if it's the pressure on the stomach because their arms are up, but that does make a difference. And that is such a nice shift when your baby is old enough to hold his head up, and you can put their arms kind of draping over your back to burp your baby. Okay, and then the last tip that I wanted to give you, this was the bonus tip, the 4 or 5 tip, this is the number 5, was one that I heard of from a friend who had babies who wouldn't burp. She said she had tried everything, but her sister had showed her that if she just gently moved the baby upright instead of quickly moving the baby upright from eating, if she did it slowly, sometimes they would burp on their own. So those are a few tips, and I actually just thought of another one. We can call this a bonus tip or an extra tip. But laying them on their belly across your legs sometimes can also help get burps out. So if you are struggling with getting your baby to burp, I hope that one of these 5 or 6 tips can really help you to burp your baby, because getting those air bubbles out is important. And when they have air bubbles, they can get very upset, and sometimes you can wonder, like, what is going on? They're fed, they're slept, and they're awake. Well, it's probably that they have a bubble. So before I jump into some encouragement for those mamas who are in the morning sick phase, I wanted to share with you those tips. So the first tip was to put your hand on the base of their back and rub up their back, up their spine with a little bit of pressure. Gently pull their mouth open. Rock your baby back and forth. Pat gently from high to low. And when they get big enough, put their arms over your shoulders. And then the last 2 was to do it slowly, or to put the baby on their belly over your legs. So I hope these tips help you in this endeavor in burping your baby and in getting through this newborn phase, which is so beautiful and so special that your baby is here and that you get to take care of them. But it also can be very hard and very difficult. Okay, for my mamas who are struggling with morning sickness and are feeling depleted of energy, I want to give you some encouragement and also some tips. If you feel like you don't have energy, I want you to know that during pregnancy, it is normal to feel like you don't have a lot of energy. Some women can get very discouraged by this, by feeling tired, by feeling like they need to nap. And it can make them feel like they are less than because they are depleted and they're not up to par with where they used to be. Give yourself grace, mama. It is okay. It is okay for some things to be let go in this season. And you have to give yourself permission to think that and to feel that it is okay, it's okay that it's okay, right? That some things fall to the back burner or they get put off for a season. And that's okay. I also want you to pay attention to what you're eating though, because what you're eating can deplete you of energy. If you are just carb loading and filling up on a lot of carbs being your breads, your pastas, your sweets, and sweets. Sweets often have carbs in them. Those can deplete your energy, sweets and carbs. If instead you replace those sweets and carbs with more proteins, you will find that you have a little bit more energy, surprisingly. That does make a difference, and it can help you to find more energy and to feel less depleted is by changing what you eat. But also changing your thoughts and giving yourself grace is going to be very powerful. So that is my encouragement for you who are depleted of energy in this morning sickness phase, feeling like, I don't know how I'm going to do this. This is so hard, is to give yourself grace, realize that it is normal, and then think about what you are eating and try and make some more healthy, conscious choices in this pregnancy. And actually, protein can help you to not get as sick and nausea. So do some research on that and see if it fits into you, into your lifestyle, and try it. Give it a try. See if it does make a difference. It did for me. So thank you for listening. Thank you for sharing. Thank you for giving this podcast a rating and a review on iTunes, because it makes a difference. Those things make a difference on other mamas being able to find this show and to find more positivity in pregnancy, because we all know pregnancy is a difficult season. So, and before I go, I haven't mentioned this the last couple times, but I wanted to tell you about my course. It is a morning sickness mental health course, and it is awesome. I know it's awesome because I used it with my 5th baby. I recorded all the videos during my 4th baby. I used it again for my 5th baby, and it helped so much. They are simple mindset exercises. You don't have to get off the couch. You don't have to leave your bedroom. You don't have to physically exercise. They are mental exercises that help you to find more positivity during pregnancy, and specifically during the sick phase of pregnancy, where it can be extra hard to find positivity because everything seems so bleak and difficult and depleted. So there is actually a video in that series called Depleted of Energy. So if that interests you, it is the top link in the show notes, and I hope you'll check it out. I have been one of the only ones so far to benefit from this program, but I know that many other mothers would benefit from this. So give it a try, and if you have questions, my email is in the show notes. I also have a Facebook page and a Facebook group where I can help answer questions, and Instagram is coming shortly. I know I told you last week that I would give you the name this week, but I was not able to record the videos that I wanted to get on there, so I will hopefully do that this week, and we will be starting Instagram, which is exciting and nerve-wracking at the same time. I don't love social media, but I have felt a pull to show up there, especially for pregnancy. So you'll be able to put a face to my voice, and hopefully we can become better friends. Until next time. Thank you for being a part of the Positive in Pregnancy and Motherhood podcast, for listening, for sharing, and most of all, for applying these tools into your own life to improve your own happiness so that you can find your own better thoughts for a better you in a positive pregnancy, in losing that stubborn baby weight, and becoming the mom you desire to be through taking small steps in thought and action to reach your goals. If you are a mother who has an inner desire to enjoy motherhood and pregnancy better, but you are having difficulty figuring it out, I can help you. I can help you find the small, doable steps without drastic changes to your everyday mom life. Reach out, let's connect, and let's see you move forward. My name is Jocelyn, and I thank you for listening. Until next time.